I never thought I'd look back on my own decisions and feel ashamed, but here I am, a fully licensed physician at 34, telling strangers on the internet how I used my husband to pay for medical school and then dumped him because I decided he wasn't good enough for the new version of me I thought I had become. And if you like relationship stories where ambition blinds you until it's too late, stay because this one still keeps me awake at night. When I met Brian, I was 24, broke, exhausted from 2 jobs, and desperate to get into med school. He was 28, working as a mechanic, funny, patient, stable in a way I didn't realize I needed. And from the moment we met, he treated me like someone he wanted to build a future with, not someone he wanted to fix or compare or control. I loved him, or at least I thought I did, and when I got accepted into medical school, he was the one who celebrated harder than anyone, bought me flowers, took me out, told everyone proudly, "My wife's going to be a doctor." He said it with this warm pride that made something inside me glow. We got married a few months later. I told myself it was love. Maybe it was, but maybe it was also survival because deep down I knew Brian could keep us afloat financially while I studied. The first year of med school was brutal, late nights, endless exams, stress that made me doubt myself. But Brian supported me through all of it. When I cried from exhaustion, he held me. When I missed family events, he covered for me. When tuition deadlines came around and my loans didn't stretch far enough, he stepped in without ever making me feel guilty. He paid the rent. He paid the bills. He cooked dinner, cleaned, and quietly took overtime shifts just so I could keep going. And every time I said, "I'm sorry I can't contribute right now," he smiled and said, "We're a team." That should have meant more to me. But somewhere around my 3rd year, everything shifted. My classmates came from wealthy families, academic backgrounds, people who spoke about research conferences, residencies abroad, vacation homes, worlds I had never touched. Being around them started to make me feel insecure, inferior, embarrassed of the life I came from. And when people asked what my husband did, I noticed how different their reactions were when they heard mechanic instead of engineer, or banker, or surgeon. Slowly, I let their judgments get inside my head. I started dressing differently, speaking differently, trying to sound more professional, more polished, and without realizing it, I began pulling away from Brian. He didn't fit the image of the future I was trying to create. He didn't care about research papers or hospital politics or networking. He cared about us, our little apartment, our shared dinners, our plans to have kids someday. And I started resenting him for not being ambitious enough, even though he was the reason I had made it that far at all. The breaking point came during my residency match party. My classmates showed up with husbands who wore suits and ties, men who talked about investments and real estate and philanthropy. Brian showed up in his best button-down shirt, slightly wrinkled, wearing a smile that was too sincere for that pretentious room. And one of my colleagues who barely knew me, asked, "So what field is your husband in?" Brian laughed and said, "Automotive. I fix things for a living." They nodded politely, but the look in their eyes was pity, and I felt something inside me twist with embarrassment instead of pride. That night, Brian told me how proud he was, how excited he was for our future, and all I could think about was how different he was from the people I was surrounded by now. I started fights over nothing. I blamed him for things he never did. I told him I needed space to grow, as if he had held me back instead of carrying me. The cruelest moment of all came one night when he asked if I still wanted a family with him someday, and instead of answering with honesty or kindness, I said the sentence that shattered everything. "Brian, I think we've outgrown each other. I need someone who matches my level now." He stood there in silence, like I had physically hit him. I watched the hurt build in his eyes, but instead of apologizing, I doubled down, telling myself that successful women don't settle. A week later, I moved out. He didn't beg. He didn't scream. He just helped me pack my things, hands shaking the whole time, and said, "I'm glad I could help you get where you wanted to go. I just wish you wanted me to be there too." That sentence haunts me. After the divorce, I expected to feel free, empowered, unstoppable. Instead, I felt empty. I moved into a nicer apartment, started working long, prestigious hours, surrounded by colleagues who approved of my choices, but none of them loved me the way Brian did. None of them celebrated my smallest victories. None of them looked at me like I was enough without the letters MD behind my name. Years passed. Brian remarried first. His new wife is a teacher, sweet, warm, grounded, everything he deserved but didn't get from me. They have a little girl now. I saw pictures online. He looks happy in a way he never looked with me because I never let him be. Meanwhile, I'm the successful doctor with no one waiting at home. The career I built on ambition and pride is strong, but the life around it is paper thin. I used my husband to pay for medical school and then dumped him because I decided he wasn't good enough, but the truth is, he was the best thing in my life, and I wasn't good enough for him. Not then. Maybe not now. Maybe not ever.